This channel is made possible by viewers like you. My viewers, subscribers, and patrons greatly help to keep this channel going. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to what I'm working on, previews of upcoming content, and even early videos, along with other tier options for those that are interested. Thank you, and now on to the video. So we had a lot of cool news if you were a Timesplitters fan last month. We sort of got this shadow drop of sorts that the entire Timesplitters trilogy would be coming back to the PlayStation family of systems through their backwards compatibility. This meant that if you wanted to, you could purchase any of these older games and enjoy them on your modern systems. I love this. Now of course, some of them were available on the Xbox consoles, and if you have a decent PC, you can play many of them through emulation, with some really nice enhancements too. But there was an odd thing about the PlayStation re-releases. When we downloaded them and started to play them, me and many others noticed that there was something missing. It wasn't that pieces of the game were missing, like bot options, co-op campaign, or anything like that, but rather there were no trophies popping for anyone. The game's released without any trophies, which for many this can be a bit of a downer. I do give credit to Deep Silver and the Embracer Group for releasing a statement to the people asking for trophies, and shortly after the launch they said that trophies would be added in the future. But we really didn't have a time frame on when that would be. Could it be a week from then, a month, or even more? Well, as of Monday this week, trophies are now available for each one of the titles, and you can enjoy unlocking these if you so choose. I know the discussion of trophies may not seem important as an overall thing. Sure, the bigger thing is that these games are now back and more accessible to modern gamers on their modern hardware. If you want to replay or play these for the very first time, they are readily available for you to try them out. I love this. Even just with that, I was very happy. But even though I'm not a trophy hunter, I do understand the frustration when these games initially came back and there was no trophies available. The odd thing is that some games get re-released on the PSN, the classic games, and they have trophies attached to them. This is where a lot of my issues come into play for this type of stuff. If you're going to expand a classic catalog, then there should be a level of consistency between all of the releases there. For example, this should mean that every one of them should have some sort of trophy list to them. Now some have it and others don't. It makes the overall service feel like it has this lazy aspect to it, like things are thrown together. Along with this, the inclusion of trophies is a way to enhance the replay value of your game. Now with this, you have another set of unlocks to try and go after. Maybe it encourages you to try all aspects of the game out, or even play them on a new challenging difficulty, or another mode you may not have really tried initially. The inclusion of trophies is always a net positive. Whether you want to go for them is really up to the player, but as a baseline you want to include these. Also, there are a bunch of passionate trophy hunters out there that will seek out games just to nab and earn those trophies. Even for older games, you have that love of going back to replaying an old favorite, and now you can earn new trophies for them or even get the platinum for it. In short, it's nice to see these back for these great games. Now as an overall thing, I think now that the games have been available on the PlayStation systems for about a month now, what is everyone's thoughts on this? Are you a potential new fan that decided to jump in and try these games out for the first time? Which game did you start out with? Are you an old timer that is replaying them? I want to know all of your thoughts on having these games back. Personally, I've been having just an excellent time with these titles. I absolutely love these games, and for me, I am playing the first game for the very first time too. It is a delight having these games back, and it really does cement my love of older games. Games from when I was a kid, and the more I play games like this, the more I am confident in saying that we really did have it a lot better back then. It is like each time I sit down to boot up one of these titles, I am hit with a rush of nostalgia, which at the same time hits me with that realization that something like this probably could never be made today. Just look at the amount of content that Timesplitters provides, like right out of the box. You basically have infinite replay value, whether that be from playing the campaigns in solo or co-op play, the arcade and challenge matches, the multitude of multiplayer options, bots, and the oh-so-great map maker. If this game came out today, some greedy developer or one of the publishers would probably try to break out the game and then spoon-feed the player more content that they could then sell back to the player too. Timesplitters brings you back to a time where it was about providing the most that a game could give you right out of the box. There was no form of an update or map packs, even roadmaps indicating new stuff coming down the line. It was whatever was shipped with it. It had to be good and it had to be stable. Even the frame rates in these games puts a lot of modern stuff to shame. You have 60 FPS for each title, and it's still so smooth to play. The writing is excellent with a nice mixture of good, interesting sci-fi stuff, with some genuinely funny moments. Most AAA games today are written in a way that feels like every line was approved by HR before going out. Don't you dare poke fun or accidentally offend anyone, or it could be the end of you. Timesplitters was never like this, it was always about the fun. Honestly, I love that these games came back. It sort of made me really energized to make videos on them. I don't want to stop, and I'm not planning on stopping at all. This was sort of my excuse to talk about these games, and while I talk about a wide variety of stuff on this channel, some of my favorite things to do is to talk about stuff that I loved when I was a kid. I had a few really memorable evenings recently where I got to play Timesplitters with a best friend of mine, in the glorious split screen. He had never played these games at all. He heard of them, but he never sat down and actually enjoyed them. So over the course of a few nights, we went through each of the 3 games in order. I love whenever I can get a chance to play a set of games like this. You really get to see and appreciate the upgrades that each sequel makes. They stand out more since everything is so fresh to you. It also highlights that the series started off extremely strong. Yeah, Timesplitters 1 is the roughest out of the entire series, and has some dated aspects, but it also highlights some of its differences that I really love. Like how fast the movement speed is that contributes to how visceral the game can feel. Then you hop on over to Timesplitters 2, and it's a lot slower compared to 1, and then you can see how this actually is the game that they were building up to, as the intended spiritual successor to GoldenEye or Perfect Dark, and I could honestly play any of these games over and over again and just have a blast. So if you are a trophy hunter, or you were just missing them like most of us from these re-releases, well now you can have those opportunities to go for the platinums for each of the 3 games. The big question is now, where do we go from here? Will there be any more Timesplitters? What could be a potential future look for this series? Is there enough interest out there for something like this? Personally, I think we have enough fans and people craving stuff from the past, especially in those older styles. If Timesplitters was made now, it would need to feel like it was made in a time machine. It shouldn't feel like a modern game. It should be the way it always was back then. As a simple start, I think we should get a remastered set for this trilogy, allowing for the online to come back for Future Perfect, or better yet, go a step further and have it for 1 and 2 as well. Put these games natively on PC, along with the Switch, or the successor to the Switch. Plus we have that lovely fan project with Timesplitters Rewind. That looks really promising as well. I want more, and I want it done well. What do you hope to see with Timesplitters in the future? Are you currently enjoying them now for the first time, or are you just replaying them because they're so great? Let me know all of this in the comments down below. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you can help to keep this channel going strong, and this allows me to be able to do more for my awesome audience. Please check out the links in the description and pinned comment for ways to support the channel. And most of all, thank you very much for watching.